After your fight on New Year's Eve, you said you wanted Fedor in May, June, and it seemed like your tone at the time, like you thought it was going to be a little easier to get that fight than it has been. Has that frustrated you?
Well, Fedor is a legend. If you want to become a legend, you have to fight a legend, you have to beat a legend. So I was hoping that he, as proclaimed to be the legend by his management, would want to fight the champion. Because he joined Strikeforce, he's not a champion in Strikeforce. So I was thinking, hoping he would like to have that fight. But yeah, his management declined, and of course it's a sort of disappointment. But maybe for the better reason, I don't know. This gave me a good comeback, Brett Rogers, and it gave me some case experience, which I didn't have for 2.5 years. So maybe for the better. Maybe it's meant to be like this.
Alistair, would you fight Fedor in a non-title match if that's what him and his camp wanted?
Yeah, why not? I would love to fight him if it's for a title or not. That doesn't matter to me.
Alistair, in comparing your and Fedor's fights against Brett Rogers, Fedor was actually in trouble against Brett in the first round, but you crushed him and only got hit once out of 14 strikes. Do you think that gives you a mental edge if you do fight Fedor down the road?
I don't see it that way. Every fight is different. Every fight is a risk. And yeah, mental. I think when Fedor fights me, he's going to be really sharp. Because I know that he's clever in the mind. Also, he was studying me extensively, and does not have a physical or a mental. I think he's too sober for that. I think he's not going to be mentally scared or something because I beat Brett 3 minutes soon or something. That won't affect him.
Other questions for the champion?
Alistair, right before the finish, you kind of just threw him down. I mean, can you kind of describe that throw that led to the finish, I guess, or was right before the finish?
That's a secret weapon. I wouldn't like to talk about that kind of stuff. And if I think you will not really find any training stuff from me on YouTube or something, because I really like to keep those things secret what I do. And I also like to keep coming with surprises, you know. So don't ask me about stuff. You're going to see that in a case.
Alistair, you mentioned the speculation that's been taking place while you haven't fought here in quite some time. Yet you have never failed a drug test or anything like that. Do you feel that you have been unfairly portrayed by the media?
You know, I know that there are some individuals who are responsible for these allegations, and all these individuals, in one way or another, or it was some opponent that I beat, or it's yeah, some person who dislikes me for some reason, and yeah, it just stacked up on each other, and you got the rumors spreading. But like I said, it's people who don't like me for some reason, so of course they're not gonna be. Yeah, they're going to be against me. But like I said, it's just going to be a matter of time. I'm going to defend my title with success, and I'm just going to do drug testing as anybody else. And once that is cleared out of the way, we're done with that.
Any other questions?
I'm just curious, you haven't fought in America since 2007, back in San Jose, and I think it was probably a comparable crowd. I think that was like 9,000 that night, right? So the crowd was probably about the same number-wise. Did anything about this trip back to the United States with the progression of MMA, it being on Showtime, like what was your take on all that?
Well, my take on the show.
I guess, you know, were you surprised by anything when you got to the States? You know, does MMA feel bigger to you here? I mean, did you think it was more of a, I don't know, what were your expectations coming back here?
Well, I always keep a little bit to myself, so I don't like to be too much exposed to people and interviews and that kind of stuff, because it kind of distracts me. But I do have a sense that it is growing and getting bigger. I definitely do. People are more, it seems a bit more enthusiastic, a bit more crazy, and I've never been to St. Louis before, so I don't know how it was here before, but if you kind of have a big stadium like this filled up, a city of 350,000 people, I definitely think it's growing. America.
You going up in the Arch tomorrow?
I'm going to be gone in 6 hours.
Any other questions?
Okay, I'd just like to say thank you to Showtime, Mr. Ken Hirschman, for making this possible. Without their support, we would not be able to put the depth and the quality of fights on that we do. And I thought it was a great show, great television fights. I'm looking forward to going home and watching it on TV. And we look forward to this Friday, the challengers from Portland on Friday night at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock East Coast time. And that will feature Kevin Casey versus Matt the Law Lennon. And then we go to LA with Robbie Lawler fighting Babalu, who both of them were here today, on a special Wednesday night Strikeforce edition on Showtime, which will be 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. And then the big fight, of course, will be the Fabricio Verdum fighting Fedor on Showtime for June 26th at the HP Pavilion in San Jose. It'll be 7 o'clock Pacific and 10 o'clock Eastern.
That's your number one man in the world and number one female.
That's right. So we added Christina Cyborg, so you'll be able to tune in and watch Showtime and watch the number one heavyweight fighter in the world and the number one female fighter in the world on Showtime. So tune in.
The media workroom, so you guys know, is open. You guys are familiar with where that is, back down the hallway, closer towards where we came from. If you need to write in there, probably out on the floor, might be starting to be broken down right now, so you can work out of there. Thanks for coming, everybody.